Go.
Hill Kings Podcast.
Hey.
Boy, what the hell, boy?
Back with another little bonus episode, brother. Welcome.
What's up, Manger Nephews?
For anyone who watched the This Week in Arlen bonus episode,
Fat Tuia, as we're calling it.
Chris and I just went and changed t-shirts, and we're back.
But for anyone who hasn't watched that yet, surprise, we have different t-shirts.
Surprise. Yeah, we wear different t-shirts in that one. Hold on, my dog is whining a lot. What are we here to do today, brother?
We're to recap. It's a kneecap episode.
We're kneecapping the recap. We're talking all about season 2, and we're going through. We're gonna do a little retrospective on our kings and our cans, and then we're gonna break down the numbers. So let's just jump right into it. Graphic up on the screen. Little rewind.
Start.
23 episodes ago, Chris, we started this season with how to shoot a rifle. Something without even trying. This was the one about guns. Bobby learning to shoot. Hank couldn't shoot good.
Nope.
Cans wise, I gave this a 3.5. You gave it a 3.
Okay. That
rings true to mine ears. This was kind of middle of the roadish, right?
I think so. Yeah, as I recall, that's maybe pretty true. Depending on what else we gave a 3 also, I could maybe even potentially see it settling a little farther into the stack of 3s maybe, but we'll see what else we gave a 3 to.
Yeah, it feels right. Kings for this one were Hank for me. Young Hank specifically is what I said.
The one who's getting yelled at by Cotton.
Yeah, he wanted his binky back. And you said Bobby.
I said Bobby.
Yeah. Which Bobby's a good choice for this one. He kind of drove the episode. He was real good at shooting, you know?
Yes, it was a Bobby episode. I'm happy with my pick.
Bobby heavy. Episode 2, we had our first guest of the season. We had Jeffrey James.
Jeffrey, thank you, Jeffrey.
Shout out to Jeff for coming on the show and being our first guest of the season. This was the one about the Twister, Texas City Twister.
Texas Titty Twister.
This was an Emmy Award-winning episode, I believe.
Emmy nominated.
Emmy nominated, not winning.
I had nommed. I didn't have win. I don't know.
It's an honor to be nominated. Maybe that's why we didn't give it full cans. 5.5 from me, 5 from you, and a 4.5 from Jeff. His first episode of King of the Hill ever, and he gave it a pretty good rating. So
good intro ep.
It's a great intro ep. I loved the Luann Hank dichotomy in this one. It was just kind of one of those episodes where Hank realizes he's being a dick.
This is where he told Peggy to go to hell in a really long roundabout way.
Yep, and he gets all of his clothes blown off.
To see his booty.
Yeah.
Later.
Looking at the entire season, I feel like this one should have been ranked maybe a little higher.
Yeah,
But there are better episodes.
I'm certainly. Did you already say our ratings here?
5.5, 5, and 4.5.
I'm certainly glad I didn't go below 5. I could have maybe gone up a half a beer on this one, I think.
You just didn't want to be the same as me.
Well, now that we got to the end of the season and we saw Leanne, once we got a little bit more closure to the story, this one I liked it a little bit better. Did you say the Kings already too?
No, we had from me, Dale, which is interesting. I don't really remember Dale in this episode at all.
Yeah, let's see, what was Dale doing? I took Nancy.
You had Nancy and Jeff had Luann as his. Not a lot of Luann in general Hill Kings wise
No.
this season, but I like Jeff's pick. I feel like I should have maybe gone with Luann on this one because I
Yeah, you're
don't
regretting your pick.
remember anything that Dale did.
I'm happy with my pick for Nancy, I think, because we got to see her shine.
Yeah,
She
she
was not a
was
punchline
doing
in
the
this episode.
weather.
She was
Yeah,
doing the weather.
she was doing the
Uh,
weather.
I remember her saying like, "This is not a drill because at Channel 4 we don't play no games or something
Yeah,
like that." And I
yeah.
was like, "That's good."
Moving right along to episode 3, the Arrowhead.
Hmm.
This is the one where the guy they
Maurice
find
LeMarchand?
they find shit in the yard and it becomes an archaeological dig,
Yes,
and
and
Hank doesn't like that.
there's an attempted Hank cucking.
Yeah, Peggy almost cheats on Hank in this one.
With the archaeologist. She was hot
Yeah.
to trot for those bones.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
This was a good episode. I liked this
this was a
one.
good episode.
It stands out overall for me, but cans wise, we were both at 4 for this one.
I probably could have gone up a half a can on
Yeah,
this one,
feels
I
like it
think.
could have been higher. For the Kings, for me, we had John Redcorn,
Mhm.
specifically for the scene where Hank goes to ask him about the arrowhead.
Oh, that's so
And
good.
he's like, "How much money do you think I could get for this?" John
It's,
Redcorn kind of
it's
scolds
like
him.
he's like, to my people, it's priceless. To your people, $10 or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And you went with the professor, Professor
Yeah.
Lerner.
Mhm.
Dumb
Played
name,
by played
Lerner.
by Maurice LeMarchand. It was our first
Yep,
Maurice episode we
yep.
had.
First Maurice,
Yeah, that is
good
a
one.
really
Yeah, feels
really
like it
fun.
could have
Yeah,
been. Feels like it could have been a little higher.
yeah.
Episode 4, Halloween. Halloween app.
Mm-hmm.
This one stands out for sure
Yeah.
in my mind.
Sally Field is our guest
Sally
star in
Field,
this.
yeah. There's
Mhm.
demonic shit. There's Luann getting like kind of coaxed
She's
into being a weird
culty.
Christian culty weirdo.
Hmm.
And then Hank being a bad boy.
Yeah, Hank breaking the rules, standing up for his boy. Yeah, it was good
Yeah.
stuff.
Cans wise, it was a 6 from me and a
Mhm.
5.5 from you.
5.5.
So you didn't go full sixer on this
Yeah,
one.
and I don't recall why I knocked it. I'm pretty good with 5.5. I don't know if it's sixable for me. It's my heart's. I think I'm good with my 5.5.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like 6 might have been a little generous for me, but I was just excited to have a Halloween
Yeah,
episode. We wore
given the others.
costumes during the recording. That was
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah,
I made the episode look all spooky.
yeah, that was
As
fun.
far as an episode of the Hill Kings podcast, it's a 6.
It's a good one.
Kings wise, we were both Hank on
Yep.
this one. That was
Mhm.
an obvious choice in this episode,
Strong Hank.
I think. Episode 5, Jumpin' Crack Bass. It's a gas, gas, gas. This is our crack fishing episode, brother.
Mhm.
Real good one.
I
This one
like this
stands
one a
out
lot.
as well. Same cans wise, 6 from me, 5.5 from you. So you're stingy with the 6s, bitch.
I am a little stingy with the 6s, but I feel like I'm pretty heavy-handed with the 5s.
Yeah, this one had a ton of great moments.
Mhm.
Obviously, Hank buying drugs was real funny. We also had the inception of the whole layaway Ray thing, which comes back
So good.
later a couple times in the season. Like we get to see
D-
him doing his court trial
yes,
later in the episode, and then he's
Dale is the
working at Megalomart.
Dale is the co-conspirator.
Yep.
Dale tries to like cheat and bring a frozen fish. Dale like does
Yeah.
some sovereign citizen shit in court where he's like doesn't recognize the court. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a good episode.
We also had a guest star, Wallace Shaw, right, as
Mhm.
the judge.
Yeah, yeah. No, James Carville.
James Carver. That's right. Wallace Shaw was in the rifle episode.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Kings wise, we had Hank, and you chose the hand dug American worm,
I stand
which was
by it.
that's a great moment.
I stand by it.
Episode 6, Husky Bobby. This is Bobby becoming a child model.
Yes.
I liked it a lot more than you did. I had a 5, you had a 3 on this one.
I could come up on that.
Yeah, this one was good. And I think I just related to it a lot as a husky child myself.
I could come up, I think, maybe a half a beer or a full other beer. I think mostly just for the song that plays in the fashion show, Gypsy Woman.
Yeah.
Quotes, she's homeless. I added that to my liked songs on Spotify.
She's homeless.
And it comes up a lot in my shuffle, and I'd be
Uh,
listening to that, and I'm like, this is from that episode of King of the Hill, but also,
yeah.
she's homeless.
We had some
She's
great
homeless.
musical moments in this
Mhm.
season. Kings wise from this episode, I chose Buckley because there is a scene where Hank catches Luann and Buckley under the sheets
Oh,
and
yes.
says he doesn't have time, kick each other's asses. Buckley
Yes.
didn't even have a line in this episode, but I thought that that was so funny that I gave him the crown. You went with Bobby, a little bit more of the obvious choice, but I think
Yeah.
the correct overall choice for this episode.
Yeah. It
It
was
was a
his
Bobby
episode.
episode. Yeah.
This was yeah, that one was a fun one. I should have gone up on that one. Probably a half a beer, maybe a full one. I,
Yep.
I forgot about the kick your own asses thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I'm
so funny.
happy. I'm happy with my 5 on that one. Episode 7, "The Man Who Shot Kane Skretterberg," featuring Kevin and
Featuring
Thomas from the Oops All Segments podcast,
super fun app.
and also featuring Green Day.
Yes, this is a good one.
Yeah, if you guys haven't watched that episode, it's I'd say one of my favorites from season 2.
I think so.
Love those guys. Thanks to them for coming on the show. We've
Yes,
also
very
been on
fun.
their show. You can go and
Check
watch
that out.
go and watch that. Go and check them out. Hopefully we have them back. I would like to have them
We talk
back on
about
the show.
cartoon baddies and
Yeah, on our
fetishes.
episode of their show. Green Day was the guest on this episode.
Very
We
cool
also
app.
had the great like dichotomy of like Hank and the boys feeling old.
Yes.
There was
Ops is
also
in this.
a major plot hole that we pointed out at the end where like they get Kane and their guys to like skip school to go do the paintball thing, and then for some reason Bobby and Joseph are there and they recycled the same video image of Bobby like getting ice cream. And it's like,
Yes.
why is Bobby there? He's supposed to be at school. I remember that standing out.
Yeah. This
Cans
episode was-
wise,
Yeah, let's hear it.
I was at a 6. You were at a 5. Kevin was at a
Mhm.
6, and Thomas was at a 5.
I think I could
We
have
were
gone up to
split.
6. I
Yeah?
should probably, given the rest of
Oh.
this season, how it panned out, I think this one could have gone up to 6 from me.
Wow.
It's just so good. This is our first episode where we get Jim Cummings. James
Oh,
Cummings
yep,
as
yeah.
well, the
Winnie
voice
the
of,
Pooh himself.
his Pops. And
Yep.
yeah, this one was good. I really liked it.
Kings wise, I went with Hank. You went with Bill. Kevin also went with Bill, and Thomas went with Kane Skretterberg himself.
Nice. I think
So
I
a
went.
guest star crowning.
I think I went with Bill because he was talking like a life insurance ad the
Yep.
entire episode
Yeah.
where he was like, I'm so glad I switched to Liberty or whatever.
Yeah, there were great moments from Bill.
Mhm.
Episode 8, "The Son That Got Away."
This one was so cute.
What was this episode about?
This is
We
the
both
one-
gave it 6s.
This is the one where Joseph, Connie, and Bobby.
Oh,
sneak
god
off.
damn. Yeah. No, this episode was awesome.
Mhm.
The
John-
Frampton Comes Alive is on the wall in the thing. It's like
John
Bobby
Ritter.
realizing that Connie and Joseph like maybe are going through puberty before him, right?
This was a really sweet, really complicated app. Our guest star, we got John Ritter is in this episode. There's some really funny John Redcorn, Nancy Dale jokes where
Yes.
Nancy is like,
when
"You
they're
want a
going to
beer,
rescue
hon?"
the
And they-
boys. Yeah.
yeah,
They're all supposed to be out looking for their kids, and Nancy and John Redcorn are
are not
together in the
Mhm.
house. Yeah, this one was great. I loved this episode.
Yeah, that one was good.
Great moments between Hank and Con in this one
Yeah, I
too,
was
when
gonna
they
say,
go
this
in
is,
and they get trapped together.
They team up. Yeah.
Some great lore establishment between Hank and Con. Kings wise, I went with Joseph,
Yeah.
and you went with Con.
Yes, I did.
Yep.
Stand by that. What did I rate it again?
6 from the two of us.
Okay. Yeah. I think I stand by that. This one was
Yeah.
a real nice one.
Yeah. Episode 9, "The Company Man." This is our one with Burt Reynolds, right?
Yes, this is the one. This is where we get Thatherton. I think
Thatherton.
This
Yeah.
is the first time we see Strickland making people have a meeting in the bathroom while
Yep.
he shits.
Yeah. And also guest star, what's his face? The guy who does the voice of fucking Ren and Stimpy.
Who else do I have in here? It's got to
And
be.
he plays the like kind of JFK sounding Boston guy.
Yes. Oh, he
What
does
is his
play
name?
Holiday. Oh, it's Billy West.
Billy West. Yeah.
It's Billy West.
Also the voice of Fry from Futurama. Huge voice
everybody from
actor.
Futurama. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
But I gave this one a 1 and you gave it a 2.
Wow.
Yeah, we hated this episode.
Okay, I don't think I stand by that one.
Well, I think a big part of it was just like Hank was such a tool the entire time.
Yeah, he was a total pushover.
And it didn't really like resolve. It just kind of ended with Hank going to a strip club and then being like, I don't want your business. And then the episode just kind of ends.
Yeah, they go to Jug Store Cowboys and he asks Peggy for money out front. Yeah.
Speaking of Peggy, we both chose Peggy as our Hill King. I think because of her Frito chili pie.
Yeah, I think I could have gone up at least a half a beer on that one.
Yeah, I feel like 1 is really low, but I remember not enjoying this episode very much from like a writing structure standpoint.
That's so strange. I mean, Hank was being a huge tool in that one.
Yeah, there's a few episodes like that. Yeah. Episode 10, Bobby Slam, featuring the Bois podcast. Rusty and Mike came and joined us for this one.
Out. Thanks, boys.
We had that hilarious moment at the end where their iPad died and they hung up on us. This was a good episode. Bobby versus Connie wrestling. Can't really go wrong with that.
One, yeah. This one was really good. It had that like boys versus girls late 90s stuff.
Yep. And then at the end they treat it like the WWE thing and they just like have fun and are kids, and that was a nice little moment. Cans wise, you and I were at a 4, Rusty was at a 4, and Mike did 4.25. 4.25.
I stand by that.
Yeah. Kings wise, I chose Dooley because there was a funny moment, I think, while they were like waiting at the to go into the principal's office.
Yes.
Where Dooley says something to Peggy.
He says, "I peed in a kid's locker."
Yeah, that's right.
I was just flipping my pages and I saw that I wrote Dooley down and I was like, "What did I write down about Dooley?"
And I chose him as my king. You went with Peggy on this one.
Yep.
Rusty went with Connie. I believe that's our only Connie of the season.
Interesting.
And Mike went with Peggy. So 2 pegs on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 11, one of my favorites of the season, I would say. Yep. This is our Christmas episode, Unbearable Blindness of Laying, the one where Hank goes blind from seeing his mom and her new boyfriend having sex.
Yes, this one was a favorite as well. So funny.
I think the best thumbnail I made all season.
Definitely.
Cans wise, I had it at a 6. You had it at a 5.
Yep. I stand by it. I could maybe do another half a can. This our guest star here on this one, of course, is it's Carl Reiner. That's
play as Gary Kastner. We both chose him as our Hill King.
Nice. Yeah,
we both chose funny. Gary. Yeah, some great moments from him. Some great moments from him with Hank, and then when they go and visit Cotton, he stands up to Cotton
for Tilly. Yeah,
which is wonderful.
Bobby is doing that thing where he thinks all these like Jewish ways.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
He thinks that's
this I like.
He says that's so Arizona though.
Yep. Excellent. Also Tammy Wynette, right?
Yes, that is our
voice
major
of
Tammy
Hank's
Wynette.
mom. Yep.
Shit, we didn't even bring that up.
We just did. Yeah. Episode 12, huge one. Meet the Major Babies.
Mm-hmm.
Great episode. A 6 from the 2 of us.
Nice.
We were both on board with this one being a perfect 6 out of 6.
Nice.
Obviously, this is the episode where Luann comes up with the Manger Babies, and Hank is also supportive until he isn't. And then there's the whole thing with the Super Bowl party, and then Hank shows up at the end, and we get the amazing soundbite.
I have come.
Do not come.
Troy Aikman is in that episode.
Yeah, he shows up at the end.
Right at the very end.
Kings wise, I went with Sir Reginald Featherbottom III, which I'm very happy with, and you went with Luann, who is the obvious choice, but I'm glad that I chose what I chose, you know?
Yep.
Episode 13, Snow Job. This is the one where Arlen gets a very light dusting of snow, and it closes everything down, and there's all the hubbub with the propane, and Hank finds out that Buck doesn't actually use propane in his house. He has electric consoles.
Hank also gets kind of downgraded in favor of the like college educated guy here. That, like, ends up
the like
messing
suck up
everything.
dude. Yeah.
They end up coming in with the tow trucks and saving it.
Yeah, and speaking of which, you chose the tow trucks as your Hill King, which was a great moment. I went with Hank. Cans wise, I actually chose a 6 on this one as well, and you did a 4.
I did a 4.
Yeah.
I probably could have gone up at least a half a beer on that one, I think.
Yeah, I feel like a 6 is high for this one. Like, this one didn't really stand out to me a ton. But this is the one where we had the whole thing where Hank quits and then he wants to open a mom and pop store.
Yes, that is right.
This episode also stands out to me. I think this was around the time that I started with the deleted scenes.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe it was like a little earlier than this, but I remember there being good deleted scenes with this one.
I think you were doing it by this point in time.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely was doing it by this point, but I remember there being some standout deleted scene moments in this episode. A good one. I would probably maybe go down to a 5 since it doesn't really stand out in my brain.
Yeah, I think I'm good with 4, but I could go up a half a beer, I think.
The next episode did stand out in my brain. I remember Mono featuring your brother Kyle.
Dr.
Your little boy. It's the one where this is kind of a Valentine's-y episode, yeah?
Yes, it's the throwback one. It's where it's where they're bringing up old things from the past with Hank.
Yeah,
Hank
we find out that
back.
Hank kissed another woman, and that's why he couldn't meet up with Peggy for her to cook him dinner on Valentine's Day because he had mono, but he lied and said he threw his back out. And then Peggy goes and gets vengeance.
Yes, we've got our guest star for that episode is Jennifer Jason Lee.
And Carrie Strug.
And Carrie Strug, yes.
Because Bobby has the like dream sequence shit. He's wondering the whole episode who his secret admirer is, and he thinks it could be Carrie Strug, and it turns out to be his grandma.
That's so
and
funny.
He gets embarrassed in front of all the kids. That was a great moment. Cans wise, I did a 5 on this one. You did a 4, and your brother Kyle did a 3.5 plus a sausage dog.
Nice.
So this was also where we found out about American Ostrich Farms.
Shout out.
Use code HillKings.
Use code HillKings
at checkout to get your ostrich meat.
Tag in the comments.
Yeah. Kings wise, I went with Carrie Strug, and you and Kyle went with Bobby.
Nice.
Which were all good choices, I think.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got 3 days of the condo. Little travel episode going to Mexico.
The famous meme episode, the WD-40.
Yeah, with the WD and then the smaller can of WD-40. Yeah, that got one can of Alamo beer just for that joke, for sure. But yeah, Con, his brother gets laid off, so they don't have anyone to like split the trip to the Mexican condo with, and he invites the Hills.
The very mitad condo.
So mitad. Yeah, and then Hank and Con kind of butt heads, and Hank, Con, and Dale, who ends up joining along, have to jump across the border to get back into Texas at the end.
Con's behavior in this is just absolutely
Con is such a dickhead
criminal.
in this episode.
I believe I took him as the Hill King.
You did. I went with Dale, and you went with Con.
Con was such a villain in this episode.
Yeah, like he really
was. Not even like playing jokes, like straight up being a huge douche.
Yeah, he like almost gets Hank arrested several times.
Yeah.
But a good episode, a standout. We both went with 4s.
I could have gone on that
for our cans. But yeah, I think 4 is about right. But yeah, I'd probably give it a little higher. Episode 16 of the season, Traffic Jam, featuring Nelson from What's Left of the South podcast. This is the Chris Rock episode. The one where Bobby really gets into stand-up comedy and then just kind of starts doing white supremacist, alt-right, white nationalist comedy.
He tries to do black style stand-up comedy, and he accidentally uses white supremacist material. It's they get on the internet premise.
They type in like white
Yeah.
and a bunch of other keywords,
Yeah.
and then they stumble onto a white nationalist website, and that's where Bobby gets a lot of his talking points. And also, Hank has to go to traffic school, and it's conducted by Chris Rock's character, who's just making it a comedy thing, and he's shitting on Hank the whole time. Good episode.
Very funny.
Go back and watch it. It didn't get a lot of love. But
Shout
I
out
gave
to
it
Nelson
a
for being on
yeah,
too. That was
yeah.
I enjoyed having him.
Great
as a
guest. He was a King of the Hill fan,
Very
which you
knowledgeable.
love to have, and a funny dude. And go check out his show as well. What's Left of the South. I hit this with a 4.5. You hit it with a 5. So a rare you ranking it higher than me, hanking it higher than me. Nelson also did a 4.5, and we all chose Bobby. This was a triple Bob Hill King on this episode.
It's our first one. We did it again, I think, this season.
Yeah, we almost had a triple Bob with the Kyle episode, but I had to go with Gary Strug. Episode 17, Hank's Dirty Laundry, the porn episode.
It's so funny.
Yes. We both ranked this one 6.
Yep.
This was a 6 out of 6 for the two of us. Obviously, this is the one where Hank dedicates his life to proving that he didn't rent a porno.
Clearing his name, and he goes a little crazy, or goes what appears to be crazy.
Yeah, he starts like protesting outside the video store.
Yeah. There's a bunch of there's the broken dryer is going on in this one. There's the porno. There's Bobby thinking it's his birthday.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
This is also This is also
that was a great through line.
Dale is going off about the beast. The conspiracies. Yeah, this one was great.
Dale's talking about the beast. We also get Bill like dropping off all the tapes. Oh, and the scene where it looks like Hank is jerking off from behind. That's the best deleted scene of the season, because we actually got the shot of Hank vigorously cranking it. Yeah. 6 out of 6 for the two of us. Kings wise, you went with Bobby. I went with Juice Newton.
Oh yeah.
Owner of a lonely heart. I know she isn't very smart. So just a moment where Peggy's sitting in the car listening to music, and she was listening to Juice Newton. And I went with Juice as my Hill King.
That one is also in my Spotify playlist now, and it comes up and I listen to it. Playing with the queen of, and I feel like
Yep. Great episode. Episode 18, the final shin salt, a cotton episode.
Love to see it.
Good one. Remind me what this one is about.
This is the one where they steal General Santa Ana's leg.
And him and Dee Dee break up.
And he's trying to get his license, and Hank is grappling with trying to take his dad's license away.
And he moves in with Dale, and him and Dale kind of team up, and then Hank goes and gets Dee Dee back. I gave this a 6. You gave it a 5.
This is where we get with the flashbacks. You gave it a 6, and you didn't even remember what was going on.
I know. Now that you reminded me, it stands out. The scenes with Dee Dee were hilarious.
Yeah, there's some flashbacks of Dee Dee and she's got the big butt. There's a couple big butt animations in here. Hank, do you think that my bottom is too small?
And then Peggy wearing the isotoner dress. Oh yeah, we both chose Dee Dee as our Hill Kings for this one.
Love to see it.
A double Dee Dee. We didn't get a lot of Dee Dee this season, but she was the king of this episode.
I just got the joke about her name.
Because
her name is Dee Dee, and she's got big boobies.
Yeah, Cotton got her 2 lefties, right?
Dude, 2 lefties,
yeah. Moving on, episode 19, Leanne's Saga, featuring Anya.
This one's a spicy one.
Yeah, it was Anya's second time watching the show. Her first time was on a Tinder date. She was a great guest. It was wonderful to have her on, and kind of some fucked up subject matter to have for her like second time watching the show.
She dropped some lore on us as well.
So. Yeah, great for the Anya lore for all of our Anya heads out there. Go back and watch that episode. But yeah, this is the one where Luann's mom comes back. We get to meet Leanne.
Yes, this one, I think this is like seeing this is what made me appreciate Texas City Twister more.
Yeah.
Seeing, Peggy actually was, stepping up for Luann in this episode.
This episode was really about Peggy and Luann's relationship ultimately.
A lot of foot stuff in this one.
Yeah, Bill has the whole
Bill's feet.
fungus situation, and then him and Luann's mom get together. Bill gets laid in this episode. That's huge.
He gets laid on Hank's mower.
Yeah, and Hank does not like that. And then there's the whole party at the end where Peggy and Leanne get in a fight, and then she steals Bill's truck. Great episode.
She
Great
also
one.
whips him out too.
Yeah, yeah. And then she hits on Buckley.
Yep.
And Buckley like calls her a skank, and she
Buckley calls her a
freaks out.
skank, yeah.
It's great. We all did fives across the board. You, me,
Yes.
and Anya.
Nice.
And then for the Kings, I went with Luann, my first Luann of the season. You went with Peggy, and Anya went with Bill.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a nice spread here.
I remember her supporting Bill.
Yeah.
That was nice.
And he got laid, and we love that for Bill.
Did.
Episode 20, Junkie Business. Great one. Hank hires a drug addict at Strickland. Maria Montalvo is in this episode.
Montalvo.
The weird ass moment of Peggy, like at the end, like the whole time she's like, Hank, you want to fuck this woman?
She's coming in disgruntled. Oh, they do it in this episode too.
Yeah, Hank gets laid.
We get a big shot of Peggy with a satisfied grin on her face and her hair messed up.
There's that really weird moment where they're talking about Maria Montalvo and
gets them both.
They do a little role play and Hank, and I think that's ultimately why I gave this one a 4, and you gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
It was a good episode. It had some really good gags, but I think like the story, the pacing and the story itself just kind of didn't make sense.
It was also very, very 90s.
Yeah.
Culture.
Yeah.
This is like at the end of the episode or in the last third, it's everybody in the office is claiming to have disabilities.
Yeah, they're all faking it. We get the return of Twig Boy, which is a great deleted scene call out. Yeah. It was a good one, but I think I feel good about 4.
You said I gave it 4.5?
4.5, yeah.
Yeah, I stand by that.
Yeah. And then Kings wise, you went with Buck Strickland. So first Buck crowning, and I went with Maria Montalvo herself. Our gal.
Maria Montalvo. I was going to say there's some nice Monsignor Martinez in this one also.
Oh yeah, what's the drug addict guy's name?
Hank Hill.
Oh, he changes his name to Hank. Yeah, he's like sitting in the break room, like Leon. Hopped up on Goofenthal.
I think his name's Leon.
Yeah,
Goofenthal. Yeah, that's what.
And he's watching Via Con Dios.
Yes,
excellent. Episode 21 coming out to the end of the season here. Life in the Fast Lane, Bobby's saga. Another Bobby episode. Bobby gets a job at the racetrack.
Bobby.
And Boomhauer is trying to drive the like pace car at the NASCAR race. We get Dale Earnhardt in this episode.
He likes the rope.
Yeah, and Bobby likes the rope too. There's a lot of good Jeff Gordon jokes. And also the 90s scene where Hank is trying to teach Bobby about the value of $1 and he goes and buys a burrito and is hunched on the front step, scarfing it down. My future tattoo. This was a good one. We both went 4.5.
Yep.
Which feels about right.
It feels about right. I could maybe stand to see it go.
Maybe a 5. Yeah.
I feel like 4.5 is pretty good.
4.5 is good. I like 4.5. Hill Kings wise, you went with Boomhauer because he got to fulfill his dream of driving the pace car. There were also great gags with the alley guys and like helping. They were like the pit crew, and Dale was the complete idiot, and Bill accidentally gets in the back of the car and weighs it down. Yeah. I did Bobby as my Hill King, specifically Burrito Bobby is what I said. Moving on to episode 22, penultimate style, Peggy's Turtle Song featuring Riley and Spa.
Shout out.
Shout out to Riley, her very first episode of King of the Hill. Also, this was a good episode.
This was a really good one.
It feels kind of low rated. We both went 5. Actually, 5 is about right. Riley gave it a 3, just middle of the road for her first ever episode.
Yeah,
which I can respect.
I think seeing what else I have as 5s for this episode, I could no 5 is good because this has drugged up Bobby.
Yes, Bobby. Drugged up Bobby was the best part of this whole episode. We also had some great moments with Luann, like using Bobby's drugs.
That's about to expire.
Luann's home.
Oh yeah, at the end, Luann is out front and she's just like all hopped up.
Also, great scenes with Peggy, like writing her song that's super on the nose, and her like feminist guitar teacher.
Yes,
it was a good one. I feel like five is solid. Yeah, Annie DeFranco, music legend. This is also our second triple Bob Hill King crowning of the season.
Yes, very
we all went with Bobby. And moving on to the final episode of the season, my guy, Propane. Boom. Cliffhanger. This is a part 1. Obviously, it's the episode where the Megalomart explodes. And we'll see how that turns out on the next episode.
Although I believe we spoiled it at the end of the app.
Yeah, I feel like everyone who's watching this podcast probably knows what happens. We know. But if you don't, we won't spoil it here.
Don't tell them.
So just don't go back and watch that episode. We both gave it a 3, which I stand by. The episode itself felt really rushed.
It was really rushed. Yeah, I agree. I stand by the 3, but there was a bunch of really good, funny Chuck Mangione stuff going on here.
Yep. Good Buckley stuff. Chicken butt. Yeah. Chicken thigh. Excellent. Excellent work.
Very good. Let's see. Bunch of
the kazoos, like Hank staging a mutiny to ruin the Chuck Mangione concert with the other guys who had lost their business.
We get to see Layaway Ray again there. Yeah.
And unemployed Hank was pretty funny.
Watching
him just sitting there watching Via Con Dios. Speaking of which, you gave Monsignor Martinez your Hill King for this episode.
Nice.
Yep, you did. And I chose Buckley.
Nice.
So my second Buckley of the episode, I feel like it was specifically for the chicken butt joke.
Yeah, I think so.
Which was great, and I stand by it.
Well, Luann needed $300 and he only had $400, but he needed it for his new trampoline.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think I took Monsignor Martinez because he killed a bunch of people in this episode. Like they were watching him at 2 different points in times, and he killed like 4 people total in this episode.
Yeah. Great Monsignor Martinez. Do you want to run through the final stat line for the episode, my guy?
Aggregate it.
Let's do it. Let's aggregate it.
God dang it, Bobby. God dang it, Bobby. God dang it. God dang it, Bobby. God dang it, Bobby. God dang it. God dang it, Bobby. God dang it, Bobby. God dang it. God dang it, Bobby. God dang it, Bobby. God dang it, Bobby. 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 Bobby.
Shoo! All right. So I kind of broke everything down here. There are 3 episodes that the 2 of us gave a 6 out of 6. But we'll get into that in a second. Do you want to know what our season average rating was out of 5 for this season?
Yes, please.
For myself, total average was a 4.85 for the season out of 5. For you, it was a 4.52. So right at 4.5 for the whole season. And then
did you say out of 5 or out of 6?
Out of 6.
Out of 6.
Yeah. So 4.5 out of 6 is your average. 4.85 is mine. And then for our guests, their average score was 4.42. So together, between you, me, and the guests, this episode gets a 4.64 out of 6. How do you feel about that? As a season, is this a 4.64?
I think so. I
feel like that feels right.
Yeah. There was only a small handful of episodes that were dragging the average down. It was a lot of stuff was right down the plate.
Speaking of which, lowest rated episode of the season was episode 9, The Company Man. It got a 1 and a 2 from us. Do you feel like that was the worst episode of the season?
I don't know. I don't think it actually was.
Our second lowest rated was Propane Boom.
I was gonna say I feel like it might be propane boom for me.
Okay. All right. And then third lowest rating was a 3.5 and a 3 from the two of us, and that was the opener of the season. How to shoot a rifle.
Hmm. Actually, that one was pretty flat, if I recall.
Yeah, but I would say that Company Man was a worse episode. I would keep Company Man at the bottom.
Okay. I think I'm gonna reshuffle my deck there, and I'm gonna say the bottom is shoot a rifle, or yeah, no, bottom is
You
propane
gave that a
boom,
3, yeah.
then shoot a rifle. I'll keep it at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, bottom is actually shoot a rifle or propane boom, then shoot a rifle, then company man.
Wow. Company Man is the only episode that you gave a 2
I
the
know
entire season.
I'm rewriting my own history at the.
And I gave it a 1. Damn. Maybe, yeah, go back and rewatch it and see how you
Mhm.
feel.
Yeah.
I think there were only 3 episodes where both of us gave them a 6 out of 6.
Okay.
Do you want to guess which 3 episodes those were?
Let's see. We literally just talked about him 13 seconds ago. And I could flip back through my notes and double check, but I don't want to.
You know what? I'll just go ahead and I'll fucking tell you.
Thanks,
Son
man.
That Got Away.
Mm-hmm.
That was 1. 2 was Meet the Manger Babies. That got a 6 from the two of us. And then 3 was Hank's Dirty Laundry.
Mm.
Would we say that those are the top 3 episodes of the season? I think we're spot on with it.
I think so. Perhaps Man Who Shot Kane Skretterberg could come into that group if I was going to bring another one up.
Yeah, that was close, I believe. That you gave that a 5, I gave it a 6.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Thomas also gave it a 5 and a 6.
Yeah, that one could come up. I think it was a great use of a guest star.
I'd say that one definitely top 5
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But it was not in our full on top ranking because there were 2 episodes that I gave a 6 and you gave a 5.5. So if we're going fully top 5, it was episodes 4 and 5, Halloween and Jumpin' Crack Bass.
Oh, okay.
So if we're putting all of the top 5 rated episodes on the table,
Yeah, let's do that.
it's Son That Got Away, it's Meet the Major Babies, it is Hank's Dirty Laundry, and then it's Halloween and Jumpin' Crack Bass. Do we feel like those are the top 5 of the season, or would we swap one out with Man Who Shot Kane Skretterberg?
I don't know if Kane Skretterberg can knock any of those off.
Yeah, I feel like Halloween definitely belongs in there in the top 5, maybe not top 3, just because it's such a classic episode.
It's very funny. It's got a good villain.
Yeah, and visually, just like Hank in the little devil costume is so fucking funny and stands out to me. Just like when I think of King of the Hill, I think of that episode. But I'm biased towards Halloween specials, you know?
Yeah, I don't think Kane Skretterberg beats any of these out. I think I'd be confident leaving it if we're just breaking the line at 5. But
yeah,
I think Kane at 6. Maybe I would want Arrowhead up there at honorable mention for me outside of the
Arrowhead
top 5.
was a 4 for the two of us. That's not even in the top 10, brother.
Well, I liked that Hank was getting cucked. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, Arrowhead's at the bottom based on how our rankings went. It's like lower half. Yeah.
Wow.
We also had a few that got 6s and 5s. One being, Man Who Shot Kane Skretterberg. We also had Unbearable Blindness of Laying.
Oh, that one was very good.
That's in the top 10. We also had for a 6 and a 5, Final Shin Salt, which was a great episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that would have an argument for top 5. And that's all our 6s and 5s. Yeah.
Okay.
But if we had to pick one, I feel like Texas City Twister could have been higher.
Yeah.
That was a 5.5 and a 5, and then a 4.5 from Jeff.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's top 5. I think if we're talking best episode of the season, are we thinking Manger Babies?
Manger Babies is really, really good. because it's a nice Hank Luann. We get the Manger Babies for the rest of the season. Just judging here based off of these here top fives, the one that's jumping out to me in my heart, I think, is The Son That Got Away.
Okay.
Because to me, I recall it being, the entire it all takes place in one day. It's really like the story of a day in the life of these, young kids,
Yeah.
these young teenagers.
And I feel like there's a lot of like character establishment in that episode. Like we get a lot with the kind of like dynamic between Bobby and Connie and Joseph, which is going to be huge in the show if I remember correctly. Again, nephews, it's been a long time since I've rewatched this show, but I remember there being a lot of Bobby and Connie and then Joseph like hitting puberty and like a lot of episodes that kind of touch on that. And this is really the first time that we get the three of them interacting with each other. And then we get a lot of Hank and Con interaction. And we also get Peggy and Min.
The rest
interaction.
Of the alley is interacting too. John Redcorn.
There's
Dale.
Great John Redcorn and Dale, and there's a hilarious Boomhauer moment in that episode too. I think I might be with you. I think that might be the official Hill Kings episode of the season, my guy.
Yeah, I think so.
Do we feel good about that? Is that the best episode of the season? Endorsed by this podcast?
I think for us, it's the best episode of the season.
Well, yeah. It's the official Hill King pick of best episode of the season.
Obviously, the nephews can let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know what you thought was the best episode this season.
Please do. Yeah, this one was
chime in.
Fantastic season. I really had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I feel good about that. Should we talk about Hill Kings?
Let's talk about the Kings.
All right, I'm going to go through our picks individually, and then we will talk about who got the most picks overall. So for me, my number one picked numerically wise Hill King for the season was Hank, with 5 choices of Hank.
Wow.
Yes. Do you want to guess who yours was?
I feel like I took Bobby a lot.
You chose Bobby 6 times.
Nice.
So 6 Bobbies to my 5 Hanks. Does that feel like it stands out for you as your Hill King for the season? Do you think it's Bobby, or do you want to hear what some of your other numbers were?
Let me hear my other numbers, but I'm feeling pretty solid about Bobby.
All right, your runner-up was Peggy with 3. You had 3 Peggies on the season. You want to know who your number 3 was?
Probably inanimate objects or something like that.
No, it was Con.
Con was my
You
number
had
3.
2 choices of Con for the season.
Wow.
Every other pick that you had was a one-off.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So you had your top 3 were all multiple choices. You then also had Bill, Boomhauer, Buck Strickland, Dee Dee, Gary, the hand-dug American worm, Luann, Monsignor Martinez, Professor Lerner, Tow Trucks, Hank, and Nancy. So that's a solid spread there.
Nice.
But you definitely had your favorites, Bobby being at the top.
Yeah. You said you picked Hank 6 times?
I chose Hank 5 times. My runner-up was Bobby with 3. I had 3 choices of Bobby on the season. I had Buckley twice. Buckley is tied for my number 3 with Dale, who I also chose twice. And then everyone else for me was a one-off. Carrie Strug, Dee Dee, Dooley, Gary, John Redcorn, Joseph, Juice Newton, Luann, Maria Montalvo, Peggy, and Sir Reginald Featherbottom III.
Nice.
I don't know if I would say that Hank is my Hill King for the season.
Oh.
I feel like in my heart, it's probably Bobby.
You think in your heart it's Bobby? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to know who our guests chose the most?
Yes.
Bobby with 3 from our guests. Nice. Runner-up being Bill with 2. And then we had one-offs of Kane Skretterberg, Connie, and 1 Peggy. I believe that was from Mike of the Oops All segments. Or no, from Bois.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So
And then,
Bobby for you.
yeah, and as a season, my guy, Bobby was the kind of overwhelming winner. He had 12 total choices.
Wow. Yeah, I think I stand pretty firm in my vote for him being our king for the season for sure.
Yep. Bobby with 12 overall picks of Hill King on the season. Hank being the runner up with 7, which is pretty strong for Hank.
Well, that is pretty strong.
Most of those coming from me, one
Yeah.
coming from you.
Who else did we have a lot of?
We also had 5 Peggies
Oh, that's pretty strong
on
for
the season. Yeah. 3 Bills, 3 Luanns,
Mm,
2 Buckleys, 2 Dales, 2 Dedes, that was both you and I, 2
Nice.
Garys, also both you and I, 2 Cons, both you, and then everyone else on the season was a one-off.
mm.
So if you look at our top 5, really, it's the people living in the Hill House. It's Bobby, Hank, Peggy, Luann, and then Bill is also up there with them.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
But I would say
Makes
that
sense.
Bobby is the Hill King of the season.
Pretty undisputed.
Yeah, we had wonderful moments from Bobby. He had his own episodes that were real standouts
Mhm.
with Bobby Saga and Husky Bobby
He
and
shined
Bobby
a-
Slam.
He shined a flashlight up a squirrel's butt in
He
Arrowhead.
did, yeah.
Or no, that was season 1. Pardon me.
Oh
think
yeah, I
on
think it
season
was.
1 that was
Yeah.
the episode where Hank couldn't shit. It's a vegetable problem. Wow, I
Yeah.
misspoke. Give me the fart noise.
Shout out to season 1.
Fucked
Oh,
it
now
up,
I gotta
dude.
find the fucking fart note.
I feel it in my whole.
No,
Yeah,
Bobby was
it feels
great.
good for Bobby. We had the Ritalin shit.
Feels so good.
Feels so good, Chuck Mangione style. I am excited to see who wins Hill King next season
Mhm.
and
Should be a
which
tight
episode
race.
stands supreme next season.
Mhm.
You and I kind of scanned through the episode titles, and there's some bangers coming up.
There's some really good stuff.
I'm excited to watch them.
We're still in the prime golden age of
Yeah.
this show. I think there's
Got a few more
another-
seasons of that actually.
I
Yeah.
think there's another like 3, maybe 4 seasons where it's still considered like good prime, but
I think
we'll
the
see.
show is really good into like season 8, probably.
Yeah, I think 8 is maybe the
Yeah.
line. Who knows? We'll see. We'll get
We're
into it.
we're gonna keep it
nephews.
going. We're doing at least one more season,
At
nephews.
least.
Yeah.
At least.
Chime in the comments if you are enjoying the show. If
Mhm.
you have a choice for who you thought was the overall MVP of this season, and what episode you thought was the best for this season. Obviously, give us a like and a subscribe, and we're going to be back for season 3. So I hope
Send
you
us
all are
memes.
excited. We appreciate you all being on this journey with us.
Yes, nephews.
Starting to get a little contingency of nephews that are
for
enjoying the
coming
show.
here.
We appreciate y'all being here.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
other parting words for the folks there, Christopher?
No, man, thanks for coming, nephews. It's been fun. We're having fun. We'd love to see the reactions to it. So thanks for hanging out with us in the alley.
Yeah, I've got season
Appreciate it.
3 on DVD en route to my house.
Ooh, coming.
So it's
I might-
coming.
I might watch an ep today.
Yeah, we got to get recording.
We do.
We don't really have a backlog anymore. So
Ooh.
yeah, well, we'll be back on our regular day.
Mhm. Tuesday,
Should
bruv.
be the following Tuesday after this little mini episode comes out. So we'll see y'all
Mini-chug.
soon. We love you.
Bye.
Hill Kings Podcast.
Woof.
Whoa.